But Jim,
Yes.
it is time that we mosey on over to the AEW side of the road. We have some interesting news here. I'll read you a report from the Wrestling News. Wrestlers Miranda Alize and Nixon Newell, who previously worked in WWE as Tegan Knox, walked out of Saturday's taping of Collision prior to their scheduled match against Anna Jay and Ty Conti, with Fightful reporting that they were unhappy with their match being booked as a quick squash loss. Maya World and Hyon were tapped to replace Alize and Newell on the fly.
Where do they get these fucking names?
Losing to Conti and Jay in 3 minutes. Following reports of
Why have a name you can't even pronounce?
Following reports of the walkout, another incident was reported.
Walkout.
Another incident was reported pertaining to Alize and Newell's AEW debut match on the previous episode of Collision against Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir, in which they allegedly were unhappy with being booked in a similar manner and with the lack of selling on the part of Shafir and Bayne, leading to some awkward spots and issues with cooperation during the match.
Jesus Christ, I think one thing is Schaefer's probably the last one you want to be uncooperative with.
In a statement to Fightful, Newell denied that there had been a disagreement during the previous week's show, stating, quote, "No, we had no disagreement. Miranda and I are really the only ones that have the details about how yesterday went." And that's all we have as
well, then what were they?
What are your thoughts on the former Tegan Knox and Miranda Alize walking out for these reasons?
Alize leaves was the headline. Normally it's like the fans used to side with the wrestler, the poor downtrodden wrestler standing up for themselves, walking out on the evil promoter, while most of the time I would sort of see the business side, and in a lot of cases side with, the promoter, the blah, blah, blah. In this case, I think the talent is mostly right, but I don't know what conversations they had with the company leading up to it as to whether, if you were told what you were going to do ahead of time and you still came and did it the first week and you see what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden you're pissed. But having said that, we know that there's probably a lack of communication in AEW. We've heard that song a time or two. But here's the thing. Apparently, these two were not signed to contracts. They were just brought in on a per-night basis. And that's what I've heard reported. They weren't under contract. But somebody said, well, but that's happened with other talents. They'll come in and they'll do jobs and then they'll get a contract. And that's a correct report. That has happened. And it's fucking stupid. Because no promotion in the history of wrestling ever brought a new talent in, put them on TV, beat them numerous times, and then decided to start fucking giving them a push.
Except Tony Khan.
Well, I mean, there's times where, Eddie Gilbert, was 17 years old when he turned pro. Of course, he did a number of jobs with it, but then you get to be a star type of thing. But I'm talking about bringing in a talent and putting them on television and having them do multiple jobs and then signing them to be full-time and allegedly then going to push them has never happened before Tony Khan, ever, anywhere. So if these two were contacted and said, we want you to come in for the tag team tournament, and naturally that would, I guess one of these was a tournament match, but the other one, I guess, was just a match. They came in, they wrestled Schaefer and Bayne in just a regular tag match and did the job. And then we're in the tournament, and they had to pretty much know they weren't going to win that to begin with. But when they get to the taping, they find out they're going to get beaten 3 minutes. okay, it is stupid business if you're ever going to bring them in that they've just not only done jobs first 2 times you've seen them, but somebody beat them in 3 minutes. So they probably figured, well, they're not going to fucking give us a job because they're thinking logically. Maybe they don't know that Tony does that all the time. But also, if they're not going to get a job, it doesn't do them any good to be on national TV getting beat in 3 minutes to go anywhere else, whether it's TNA or fucking GLEAT, wherever it may be. And that's why that the quality of the job guys, except for a few of the North Carolina mainstays like George South, the quality of the job guys on TBS, the Superstation back in the days, was so bad because no legitimate wrestler wanted to be seen doing jobs every week on national TV. So if they were told, we're going to bring you in, you're going to have these couple of matches, you're going to lose, but they're going to be competitive, then maybe that's why that there was a problem in their mind in the first one with these other two selling, because Megan Brain's a giant and Marina Schaefer's got Dick the Boozer disease and thinks she's the toughest woman in the world and legitimately is the toughest on their roster. Did they not want to sell for these part-time girls, but part-time girls were told to be competitive?
I actually just found some quotes here. I have an article came out a couple of days ago from Post Wrestling by Neil Flanagan. Nixon Newell and Miranda Alize have given their account of the events that led them to leave AEW's Collision taping on Saturday. They spoke on Sunday, following initial reports that the team refused to take a loss. Other reports indicated a dispute over the short amount of time allotted for their match. Speaking on a Twitch stream, Newell, alongside her partner Alize,
sounds like a medical condition,
gave her version of the events. Newell stated that there was no bad blood on either side. Arriving at the Collision taping on Saturday, Newell said they were hanging around, not told anything, until just after the doors opened. They were informed that they had a match against Ty Mello and Anna Jay, and came up with a bunch of ideas. According to Newell, a producer then informed them that the match would last 3 minutes. Newell said their reaction was not anger, but disappointment, as they had been told previously to establish themselves as a credible tag team. Here's a quote. "No one's going to be happy with 3 minutes, but we weren't going there like, what the fuck? It was more like, oh, we were told that, we were going to have a match of substance.
Yeah.
And after the promo that we cut, we were told to make ourselves to be a credible tag team. So let's stop there. I didn't know they cut a promo. Apparently they were told to cut a promo about all this."
Well, and that's a kind of an oddly worded way of saying we were told to get ourselves over, to make ourselves, whatever the case. They're young folks. It sounds like that they were led to believe that they were going to get time, that they were going to be competitive, that they were going to get that if this is a tournament for the women's world tag team title, that it wasn't just going to be they're a job team coming in, but that they're credible from somewhere, and then they'll do the honors and everybody goes about their merry way. And then again, like I said, they do the job the first weekend, not even tournament. Okay. They don't want to sell for us. We're supposed to, halfway look good. Second week, they're going to beat us in 3 minutes. Let's just fucking go home. That would have been, people can say, well, who are they and what options do they have? And that's true with almost everybody in the wrestling business these days. But in the days of the territories, yeah, if you were of a certain mindset, you would have said, yeah, you know what? Never mind. Just fucking beat some job guy in fucking 3 minutes. I'll go home. That wouldn't have been unheard of. And also, to be quite honest, was anything of value lost in that Would they have been appreciably better in 3 minutes than whoever these girls were that did the job in 3 fucking minutes?
Well, a few more quotes here, Jim. We called our producer over and we said, hey, I don't think the 3 minutes are going to benefit either of us. Not just us, but everyone in the tag team. And we want what's best for everyone, you know? So respectfully...
I think winning in 3 minutes over 2 girls and practically no effort at all kind of benefits you, but go ahead.
So respectfully, we preferred this to go to someone that it could benefit. They texted us. They said, all good, no problem. You guys are free to go if you like.
They texted us. They're in the same fucking building. What are they saying?
We were given the go-ahead to leave. And that's where the story ends. They left.
Well, I can hear somebody saying, okay, you don't like it. And Ole, famous Ole quote, you don't like it, go home. And they did. And I did. But nevertheless, they texted. They're in the fucking building and they're texting people. What is going on here?
They claimed that they then left the venue to go eat because it was tiny and catering was full. Newell concluded by insisting the decision was not an ego thing and noted she is in her last 2 years in wrestling and just wants to have fun.
Because girls, they want to have fun.
Is that the new established thing? If people know that you're going to finish up your career, you get to just have like a period of like, I'm going to do all the fun things I always wanted to do. Like not job on TV in 3 minutes.
It used to be when you were in the last couple of years of your career, then it was because you were fucking old and broken down and nobody wanted you anymore. You were just an old discarded shoe, a used Kleenex on the peep show booth floor of life.
Whether for Smoky Mountain or in WWE, where you were the one bringing in a lot of the guys doing enhancement work, did you ever have anyone get there and refuse? Like, this is not what I want to do?
Well, no, because I told them everybody knew at the start, not specifics like you're going to do a job for X guy, but hey, would you like to come in and do some jobs on my television? And they knew they weren't going to, if we did 4 TV shows, they weren't going to have to work more than twice. Might do a little run in if we're doing a pull apart. I would pay them. They would get some time to look competitive or credible, depending on their ability to look competitive and credible. Because we didn't just have it all. It wasn't all just, the fucking job guy that we put in with the Moondogs. We had Rip Rogers was a guy that was doing jobs on some of our early televisions. We had talented people. Hector Guerrero lost more than he won on television, but we had quality guys doing that type of thing. And everybody knew, what their spot was ahead of time. And I can't remember any of the guys that didn't want to put somebody over on television.
If it had happened, what would the reaction have been from you, let alone if it was WWE, anyone above you?
Well, it depends on who it was. If it was just one of the job guys just got a wild hair up his ass and said, I don't want to put the dirty white boy over it. Okay, fuck off then. We'll get somebody else to do it. Hey, Joey Maggs, come here, whatever. If it was a top guy.
Oh, it did happen to you when Shane Douglas refused a job to you.
Well, I thought you meant in Smoky Mountain. That's what I was trying.
I'm just thinking in general of wrestlers, yeah.
Oh, well, no, he did it and then took it back. He did it, but then it never aired. But no, if I had been Smoky Mountain or whatever, dealing with top names coming in, and somebody said I didn't want to do a job, well, then we would work something out because they would have a legitimate point of view that I had to take seriously. And with the Steiners, when originally we had booked them to come in and work the rematch off SummerSlam 93 with the Bodies. But at the time they had the tag team titles, so they were going to be WWF World Tag Team title matches. But that's when we were at a TV. Well, the SummerSlam was the end of August and they came in like the second week of October. So right before we were going to promote this thing, we may have actually got the early word out. Nevertheless, Pat Patterson comes to me at TV for the WWF and says, well, I know you got the Steiners booked, but we're taking the belts off of them. We're going to put them on, was it Jacques and Pierre? Whoever the fuck it was. Anyway, God damn it. He said, I wanted to tell you still got the Steiners, but they won't have the belts. So we just made it return matches, and people came to see the Steiners in person anyway. But I knew we weren't going to switch the belts. So I'd planned DQs, all along. But when they didn't have the belts, I thought if I could get them to do one job for the bodies, and then because we had them 4 nights. So I thought DQ them, DQ us, we go over, they go over, we split it up even, which they would have done, except this was when they were on the outs with the WWF. That's why one of the reasons why that they were having them drop the belts, and they were going to leave soon after, and they were trying to protect Japan and blah, 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 and didn't want to do any jobs for anybody. So we did the DQ with Arnold coming in and biting the bodies on the boots.
But Tegan Knox and her partner are no Steiners.
No, they're not. And they don't even have a dog as talented as Arnold.
All right. Well,
it's been a long time since there was a good trained dog in the wrestling business, either in the ring or back at the hotel after the matches.
All right. Well, Jim, I don't know where to go from there. Why don't we tell everyone about a great meal that they can have, chef prepared, no extra work on your part, easy and delicious. The last batch of stuff sent here by Factor was the most delicious they've ever sent. I'm a big fan. Let's talk about Factor.
Well, as a matter of fact, you said that you were gaining weight on this diet because you went on 2 diets. You weren't getting enough to eat on one. But folks, I'll tell you what, if life has just got you down, if it's just the schedule, the hecticness, the back to school, the busier routine, the shorter days, the days are winding down now. Soon there'll be only 3 hours long, and then there'll be no daylight, and we'll have to move underground. And you got to start stocking up now. Factor has dietitian approved chef prepped. A chef prepares them, hence the prepping. And they make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping they've got Thanksgiving turkey dressing and cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving. I haven't seen that yet, but maybe just a big turkey leg they could send in a box. Just put in a plastic bag, tape it up, send it in a box.
That's the way they conduct themselves. They send, again, chef-prepared meals. They look good. They taste delicious. I don't think it would just be anything as mundane as that.
Well, there's more variety and more meals you can choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. GLP-1 friendly meals. GLP-2 still a little cranky. And the new Mediterranean diet options are packed with protein and good-for-you fats. Some of these fats that the Mediterranean people use and have in their diet, they're actually good for you. They help you to live longer. That's why you see all these 85, 90-year-old Greek guys taking all this olive oil and smearing it all over these naked women they make statues out of. And they carve them right between the butt crack there.
Where do you see this? That's why you see
this all over Greece. That's why it's called Greek. Savor global flavors for the first time. Try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and the preachings of Chairman Mao. It's right there on the thing. You pop it in the microwave and boom, you're good. And it's Buddhist friendly.
Yes, right.
From more choices
friendly
to better
nutrition. Let's just stress, friendly to all, nothing to do with Chairman Mao.
Well, but it's especially Buddhist friendly because they have certain requirements. They got to have their rabbi come in and bless the fat guy, and then that takes a whole time.
I don't know if that's how that happens, but
it's the big fat guy. He's blessed. Every roll of fat has to be blessed by a qualified rabbi,
again,
or else the pig is slaughtered in a completely different location.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. No rolls of fat involved in this delicious food sent right to you while it's fresh, prepared by chef. Great salmon, great chicken, and so much more. Jim,
97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. 97% of the customers. So what's the odds that you're going to be one of the 3% that just shriveled up and blew away? Folks, feel the difference no matter your routine. Right now, go to Factor, I say factormeals.com/JCE50 off and use the code JCE50 off. You're going to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. 50, I say. Not 350, but 50. 50% off your first box and free breakfast for 1 year at factormeals.com/JCE50 off. The code is JCE50 off because that's how much you're going to get. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Asterisk, offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. But that's just fine print, and you just slather some gravy on that and just dig right in, and it's going to taste good.
Factor!
Factor!